So this is George. George is like this was your first tournament. You play in LA, right? And you used to be like super big in Halo. Is that approximately correct?
Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Yeah, I actually did some math and calculated that I put about 34 hours into this game before this tournament, and also put in about 30 hours of just like online YouTube videos and research, which included your snail document. So
Nice.
overall, yeah, very new to the game. I
Yeah,
also
that's
realized that I put in probably less than 1 hour into objective. And so 2 hours before I flew out to Salt Lake, I did some drone tech following, like, if you know, on the KQA drones channel, there's a pinned resource with all the tech you should practice as a drone.
yeah.
So yeah, did my best the limited time I had, but yeah, very very newbie objective player coming into this, and so yeah, I really appreciate you watching over gameplay and all this feedback. I've already personally reviewed it, and it's all been super helpful. And yeah, happy to go through it for the YouTube and our audience.
Yeah, so I annotated these by sort of intensity of error, where like mistake was worse than nit, and so maybe we'll just look at the mistakes from the first video, and then the nits from the first video, and then we can go do the mistakes from the next video, and then the nits from the next video. Right? There's two matches here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first one we did was winners against Big Drone Ego. So yeah, I should probably start there. Our team was Don't Be Salty, but on day they actually had the names of the team swapped on the bottom, and you'll see that they fixed that on night and moving forward. And then yeah, we got knocked into losers and made it all the way up to Woody's team, and then Woody's team knocked us out. So we're watching the games that knocked us out of winners and the games that knocked us out of losers and the tournament.
Um, yeah. Okay. So right here, actually, I have a nice little annotation here. Right. You are. Is that at stripes? Right. Your stripes. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
always played as blue stripes to be closest to the blue net on the blue cab, and gold checks to be closest to the
yeah.
gold net on the gold cab.
All right. So the situation here is your team has lockout. Um, Gold is trying to form a warrior out of right gate. Abs over here, right? He's going to go. I think Abs can actually make this jump, and they probably should. Yeah, the Abs can certainly make that jump. But they didn't. So you actually have the opportunity to really screw with Abs. Like once Abs is off this platform, you can see my mouse, right? Um,
Yes.
yeah, you can deny this platform, and then Abs cannot warrior, right? Like more important here than I think the few seconds of snail yardage, right, is helping your team keep a lockout. Um, and yeah, you could have done this here. We'll just play the video, but yeah, you just ride and they get the form, right?
Yep.
And then
Yeah, I think even if they had made the jump above me, right, if I was sitting on that little platform, I could have at least made my way over before or shortly after they jumped, and then played gate foo with
yeah,
them. Their queen could have popped me, but in that time, at least it would give my team enough to kill queen and get better positioning on them. So I completely agree, and that was definitely a display.
yeah. So we'll see this, and then the other thing is exactly right. Since you didn't deny Abs, now Abs stopped your snail progress. So this is just like exactly the point I was making. But yeah, this
Yeah,
concept of yeah,
that's a good point. That especially if the snail is right under a gate, that their queen's trying to get someone out. Like it's in your interest also as snail rider to deny that form because they're immediately just going to come down and pop you most likely with their items.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, Okay, here's I annotated this as this bump would get nothing. Flee, distract rather than bump is the move here. So this is, I think, a common error. Not for drones that have played like 3 hours or whatever nonsense, ridiculously low amount that you played. But I think yeah, you're at the I don't know approaching mid level. Like I can bump things and that's good, and like I can hold my own. But you got to think about the sort of payoff matrix of the bump, right? Like this bump here, your stripes at the bottom, and opposing stripes is probably gonna try to kill you, right? Um, if you bump them, you kind of don't really win anything, right? Like in a second and a half, they're gonna be roughly in the same position. Um, right? You have no threat there, and so the move is just to waste more of their time by running away from them. Um, but let's see, yeah. Oh, I don't even know. Was that I don't know. Yeah, you just sort of short hopped into them. Like I don't know what
Yeah,
you're going for
I
that. Do you
jumped
remember?
too late. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you jumped also like I like you didn't do a big hop, right? Like a mistake a lot of especially newer drones will make is by default doing like the long press and jumping high off the snail. You actually didn't jump that high off the snail, which is good, but you went the wrong way. You should have just ran away. That's the point.
Yeah. I realized mid tournament that I hadn't really practiced like the dancing around snail aspect of snail, and I
Uh-huh.
wish I had, so that's something I'm looking to do more in the future. But yeah, I didn't even realize that I could, or maybe I subconsciously wasn't consciously thinking I could jump uh, in the opposite direction. Like I thought you just jump to basically hop off the sail and then you start moving from there. So yeah, I think here the what you're saying is like if I just hold down hard right and jump off, then
Yeah.
I'll my arc of movement will be away from the warrior and they'll have to
Yeah.
chase me down.
Yeah, exactly. And they can't catch you, right? Because it's a vanilla. Um,
Right.
okay. And here I say gold abs maybe should be a dead to a bump here. Um, yeah, sometimes when you're trying to bump things, you get caught by the snail and that's unfortunate, right? But I guess I could,
Mm.
draw the play. Let's see, fancy tool. Can I make it blue? Is it blue? Okay, right. So you try to bump this way, right? Hopefully skulls goes here, and then he gets pushed back to die, right? That's the kind of
Yep.
play I would be looking for. But let's see what happens. Oh, I need to unclick this. I don't know how to use this UI. X. All right. Oh, you just don't even go for the bump. Yeah.
I assumed that I assumed that gold would fly up, so I anticipated them being above me. But your play makes more sense because I can just cut them off before they even escape from the platform, and then that guarantees a bump
right.
instead of trying to anticipate their movement.
Yeah. I mean, anticipating movement is good, but if they go above, hello. Um, hey, precious. Right. If they go above, then it's kind of okay, right? You can just make some more snail progress, and hopefully skulls takes the right position. But yeah, I think the general attitude is if you've got like a small platform and you're a drone, right? You got to start thinking you're buff. Like you're like co-equal, right? You can bump queens even. Like this is a something that warriors can't do, right? Warriors can't bump stable
Right.
queens, but drones can bump stable queens when they're on these little platforms. So you got to kind of own them, right? And you can even bait warriors to go under them so that you can punish them. But yeah, you had
Mm.
a great opportunity there that he dropped. All right, so now we're gonna go back to the nits. So the nits, this should be smaller mistakes. Right. Oh, I don't even see. Are you blinking? I would have stayed high here, try to feed from the right side of the snail because a warrior can cap the tunnel and prevent you from getting in the mouth. Let's see.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, I see.
Trained.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, the problem here is if the warrior just plants themselves right here, you can't get through, right?
Yeah.
So we can go back. Um, yeah, so you took
Oh, and
this
they can't
path.
even get bumped, right? So that's a good point that if they're capping, then I can't even bump them and
Right, yeah.
try to help. Yeah.
Yeah, if this was bad path, and the good path would have been something like this. Because now you've got some counterplay, some options. Whereas once you're in the tunnel and the snail's past the tunnel, you kind of lost.
So
All
at
right.
what point, if they have an enemy team on snail, at what point do you start considering going above and below? Is it literally at that point when it's about to tunnel, or is it before like 75 or 80%, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, in general, right, being lower, getting first to the ground and then getting into the snail is sort of the better move. Because warriors tend to not want to go low. But here, I think it's exactly once the snail gets to the point where you can't stop it through the tunnel, then you've really got to start thinking about going through the middle, or even taking the long way through the wrap. Because
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense.
you just get yourself trapped down there.
That was something
Um,
else I didn't practice and wish I had before the tournament was at what point is it actually faster to wrap through instead of taking the path. So that's something I'll be looking at.
yeah, yeah, and then the other consideration is not even just absolute speed that matters. It tends to be the case if you're taking the wrap, you'll survive more, right? People don't
Right.
have great wrap awareness, and especially for drones, they're not like you know, you ain't got the sword, right? So you're not typically gathering that much attention for the opponent. So you'll tend to live longer if you go take the reps, and
Yeah.
or have a higher probability of actually getting into the snail's mouth or whatever, getting to the action, as opposed to going through the middle of the
Yeah.
map where you'll often get caught in transit.
Yeah. And that's actually something that comes up in two annotations. So yeah,
Okay.
as we
Oh,
get there.
yeah, sounds good. 17 days ago, so I've even forgotten what I've said. I just know a lot of stuff that's true. Um, yeah. Okay. All right. So where are you? You're here. Oh, could you probably like hang out here or something? Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
I
even.
forget what I was doing there. I think
Yeah.
I was trying to help the queen, and I saw an opportunity for a bump, and yeah, thought I would miss it. And to your point, it's like I didn't commit to it. I didn't try to even track it, and
Yeah.
so they could just easily pick me off.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just slightly bad execution, but yeah, I think there's like a mentality of like, I'm gonna fucking displace you. I'm gonna bump you. I'm gonna give my teammates the opportunity to fucking kill you if you misplay. And having that like aggressive mindset is valuable and important. Um,
Yeah, and I think the advantage also to that play is that if I miss, then I just fall to the snail, and then I can help get snail progress, right? So it's a sort of a high value play either way.
yeah, yeah. If you, yeah, that's fair. Um, okay. Oh, yeah, I guess I remember being a little bit like, oh, kind of frustrated watching because you feel like you just die in the same place. Oh, bam, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like three times in a row. It was
Oh, three
frustrating being
times.
that person. Yeah.
um,
Yeah, this was the first game when I realized that um, normally, I drop all the way to the bottom of the map and then I start moving right. But what if just coming out of spawn, I started moving right? Right? Then I could get to my target faster across the map.
oh yeah,
And I realized, of course, that there would be warriors in the way and queens, and I'd have to dodge military. But I thought that I could do that, and I could maybe get some bumps. Like maybe this is even a better option of a play if I can help get some kills. But the reality that panned out was my military was not in a position to capitalize on any possible bumps. So I just was very easy to pick off.
yeah,
And so to your point here, it's like, yes, maybe if there's no military, you can take that path. But if in general you want to either drop to tunnel or drop to just above tunnel, right, where warriors and other military tend not to be.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, right, and then in like middle of day map, there's not these like kind of short little platforms like like this is a good platform to kill something. I mean, not that people are ever here, but
Mm,
when you've got the short platforms, that's where you get your power. There's not these short platforms in the middle of day map, right? So you're much more you're vulnerable, very vulnerable.
that's a good point. Yeah, like unless we had maybe a warrior tapping that gold queen right there, and then I magically got a bump without the queen noticing that I was behind them, right? But it's very obvious when I'm making that big of a jump. So
Yeah,
yeah, I hadn't thought about that. That the shorter the distance, the better plays I can make, and the more control I have of military.
yeah. All right, missed the swap here. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Let's
Yeah, yeah.
see.
I
This.
missed three swaps within 2 minutes.
Okay.
Probably A, because I'm bad, B, because someone told me that being on Snail is a great time to look for other things happening around the map. and so I would bet that at least one of these I was looking elsewhere when it happened. Um, Hopefully
Yeah,
more than that, but yeah, I would just chalk these up to me being bad.
that's fair. But yeah, okay, here is even like this one's like borderline egregious because if you sort of hop off the snail, oh, I guess maybe it'll fall off. That's maybe it's not so
Oh, you
bad.
know
But
what?
the,
I thought that my warriors were gonna get the kill here, and that I
mhm.
wouldn't have to hop off, which was a
uh,
silly assessment because obviously that is not what happened. And yeah, obviously it wastes a little time to hop off the snail, but I think in terms of risk management, a ton of military around. It's just like just spend the half second hopping off the snail, and then hop back on.
yeah, yeah. And then even here, like I would tend to like run away and let them get in the snail and then have them eat you. But here you can even jump into them and then you basically pincer.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, good point.
yeah.
And that was something that I learned more playing trash games. Like I was literally in a game with Sam from SF,
Oh
and
yeah. She's amazing
they
drone.
were like, yeah, yeah, and they let me know in a particular play, they're like, if you had gone to the left of that platform immediately without hesitation, we could have pincered their queen, right? And
Mm.
so it's like as a drone, I'm typically thinking about survival and moving the snail and maybe stopping formations here and there. But I did not go into this tournament with the mindset that like I am a pincer machine and I can, especially in these low platforms, seriously limit their movement and help get kills. Something I
Yeah.
learned, yeah, playing
Yeah.
this tournament.
Yeah. Sam Weddle is a pincer machine. All right. Um, Mr. Hop. Let's see what happens here. Oh yeah. This is here's another maybe interesting thing, right? When you are being eaten, right? You actually have like 4 seconds of invulnerability, right? So that could give,
Right.
even though you have no teammates that close, right? You know, it saves you from that queen by being eaten.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, looking at this, it's embarrassing. Like, it was very clear I had plenty of time to hop on, and I don't know if I was trying to time it at the very last moment and messed up the timing, or looking up like, oh no, they only have two barrels left, and trying to track other things. But clearly, this was a mistake.
Yeah. All right. And then here I say missed another swell. Let's see. Missed another hop maybe. Oh yeah. That one. I guess it's a little hard because you don't really have that much room to like jump away from abs without dying. Maybe abs actually played really well in this, or their abs played quite well. Not that your abs played poorly here in this interaction, but yeah, you it's kind of obvious that Chex wants that snail, and if you eat them, you're pretty dead. But
I
I don't know.
think
Maybe this one's more
maybe.
for. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah. Finish what
No,
you
no,
were
you go,
saying,
you
and
go,
then
you go, you go.
I was just wondering if maybe my thinking there was that we had to hold the nub, and if I getting eaten, then have to drop nub control, and then abs could have swung in and taken the nub.
Yeah, yeah, but
Maybe
you
that's what I was thinking here.
that's fair. But you actually have two in the nub, so you get to keep on owning the nub even if one of them
I think
drops
that
low.
was. Can we go back? I think that was before John K showed up as queen.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. Yeah,
yeah, that
yeah,
was
yeah.
before queen got there. Yeah,
But now we
but yeah,
see like
did I? I don't think I had speed, right? No, it's just normal. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Should I have hopped off and had Arabs get the kill, or
I mean, you're yeah, I would have hopped. I would definitely would have hopped.
okay,
Um,
towards the rope?
yeah, exactly. Towards safety.
Okay.
Yep. But this one's more dubious, and what you're saying does make sense, right? Like you can be the bait and hope your warrior kills their warrior when you die, right? That has value too.
Yeah. Yeah, and what circumstances do you think about that? Like generally the way I've approached it is if I have military in position guarding me, like Captain preventing their military from in, then I'll just eat because it's like it's faster or it might be faster for the military to drop, but by dropping, they're letting the other military in and creating more risk. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
and if I'm speed
it's
snail, I'll generally just eat, right? Because it's the 1.5 seconds is faster than playing that little dance of hopping off, and then it attracts. You need a military resource to get out of that. So, and there's a risk as a speed drone getting eaten is great. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, see, D's in the chat defending your play here. So this is maybe not even an error. And it's just up to your warrior to outplay their warrior. Okay, so that's maybe it for this video. Mistake. Good. Oh, okay. Here's a good play that I guess you made. So here you are. Nice work distracting skulls and forcing jumps from the rider. Yes. So yeah, nice. So you're just around. Yeah, beautiful. I think their checkers. Oh, this is no, that's not okay. Sam Weddle's playing their skulls, right? So here you're close enough to snail that the snail rider jumps off. Okay, their snail rider made probably a little bit of error and could have like let you get closer before jumping.
Yeah.
But here you are alone and it's okay, maybe you got a little support here now, but you're wasting their time. You're making the snail go slower by forcing jumps. This is like good play. And this is something that more people should be doing.
I appreciate the positive feedback.
Yeah. That's okay. Oh, you had a bad. I didn't look at this one. I think I remember this now. So this was actually pretty critical, or I thought it was critical, but you end up winning this game anyway. But it was a bad moment. All right, let's see. Yeah, okay, I see. So basically, here's where, like, what you're saying is like, sure, you can look around the map often as the snail drone, right? You've got some freedom. It's most snail like drone errors are not critical, but now like there's snail's almost in their net, right? You are a clear high priority target, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like you're like just asleep at the wheel, right? Like you didn't jump away at all.
Yep.
You could have tied up their queen, right? If you're trading drone time for queen time, right? Your team should be winning elsewhere. Yeah. So anyway, so I guess I should start with bad before mistake.
Yeah, that's a good point that like maybe it's okay as snail to scan the map here and there, but as if you're in a critical position, which is basically close to either net, then you really should be focusing on survival because that's just extremely crucial time for you to survive.
Right. Yeah, and the flip side of like scanning the map is if you're doing this, you should be like providing valuable information to your teammates, right? And maybe even shot calling, like telling your teammates where to go. Although if you're a relatively new player, then maybe you don't have like the shot calling responsibility and trust yet. But all right.
Yeah, thankfully Walshy was an amazing shot caller throughout the whole game. But yeah, I did try to. I think my contribution was more providing information. So, number of warriors versus number of warriors, like berries versus berry counts, things like that. Yeah.
Okay, and then I've got another comment that I didn't annotate. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is just like a little bit of sorry for calling out your skulls. We won't name them. I don't even know their name, which is cool. But skulls here should so I get that blue pin. Skulls should be right here, capping this ledge to make their opposing skulls not have options. And they're not supporting you, so you try to make progress, but you can't really. So you die basically because your support wasn't supporting well.
In that case, I could have shot called and been like, "Hey, Abs, can you drop to cap this warrior?"
Yeah, I mean, it's too micromanagey and like slow to like even explaining that is hard. Like, yeah, like Skulls just has to play better.
If you are the drone in that situation, and knowing that you have support, what would you have done? Would you have kept riding the snail to force their warrior low like I did, or would you have like hopped off and waited for to get in a position or something?
I mean, this gets fixed like you actually have to converse with them after the game and be like, hey, like remember the situation when Nowhere was here and you were here and I was trying to move the snail, and like you should have been lower to like give me space or whatever. But yeah, I think
Sure.
um whatever it's yeah, I might have
Oh yeah,
waited
like in the
under him.
moment. Yeah, like
I,
if you see abs leaving right here, do you hop back on the snail or do you just stay where you are and ask abs to get into position?
oh, you're talking about skulls. Skulls is right here. Skulls is the one that should be defending you, right?
Sorry. I kept saying
Skulls.
abs. I meant skulls. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, do I wait here and then hope Skulls gets the clue? Maybe that's the optimal play. Um, yeah, I think that's probably the best thing you can do. But ideally, you get your teammates playing well so that you don't have to work around their mistakes.
Sure. Yeah, I
Um,
always assume that everyone is tracking 1,000 different things and has a lot going on and doesn't know exactly what I need. So I try to communicate when I do need something. And yeah, typically teammates are responsive to that. But you're right that ideally everyone would just, see what they need to do and do it.
yeah. Um, yeah. Okay, so this was, I think, all the feedback for this video. I hope. Uh, don't do something. Okay, so this is Woody's team, and let's go filters first. Are there? First, is there anything bad? Bad.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
this was the one thing that I wasn't sure what you meant by. So
Oh
yeah, I
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
curious to learn more.
Yeah, sounds good. That's interesting. Okay, so you've got the winning berry here,
Yep.
right? Um, so I guess like say right here. So you're to the left of. Maybe I'm too hard on you actually. Like it looks like maybe you don't even have the space to really mess with abs. Um, but okay, so the idea is, um, like maybe if it was simpler. Like um, imagine their warrior. Can uh, imagine their warrior was say right here, and you're right here, and you've got that winning berry, right? But their speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've kind of got the column, meaning they are not uh, they're to your right, and you're trying to go left. So that's what I
Hmm.
mean. You have the column on them. You kind of want to try to defend your positional advantage, right, by bumping them away if possible. So that's what I was suggesting, that like you know you try to like uh, go for a bump somewhere around here, right? So that you'll end up this way,
Yeah.
and they'll end up this way, and then you've won. Right now, you've got enough space to just get in.
Right. Right.
But yeah, looking at the replay, I think I might have been too harsh, right? Like I think Abs probably is tracking you in a decent manner, right? They didn't go too low. You don't have quite enough time to like get above them.
It looks like maybe if I jumped, like did a long jump left, and they kept current path, maybe. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
good point that I have. I don't know if I even knew speed, which is something that I should have been aware of
Hmm.
before I went under. Um, but yeah, that's a good point that drone play literally wins this game, so it's important to stay alive here. Um, if you knew that that was a speed warrior in the nub, would you have even taken that path or jumped up on the platform and gone around?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah,
Let's see.
what would you have
Let's
done here?
yeah, get rid of my job. Um, all right, let's go a little back.
I
So here
pulled the
you.
berry from blue net, I believe.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, so you're here. Okay, so you're basically trying to juke Abs, trying to get under Abs to run that winning berry. Makes sense. Abs let you in. You know, this like kind of fishhook thing, and it's this is dangerous, obviously with Abs above you. But the fastest way to run this berry, like imagine Abs is not there, right? Is actually like you jump around now, right? Even earlier, optimally. Oh, I gotta make it blue. And you kind of take this path. Oh, I didn't make it blue. But you want to have downward momentum um, when you're going here. You understand that? Maybe I'm not making it clear. Like D-Ray actually brought this up, and it's some like concept from racing, um, about
You're talking about how basically if I have rightward momentum as I hook under, I can hold left and start to get some leftward momentum.
well, no, it's not about the left part. The right versus left. You obviously have to move all the way right to clear it. When you clear this, you want downward momentum, right? Maybe again this one that this matters more for night nap, but you could be lower by jumping earlier, right? Is that clear?
So you're
Like,
saying that, oh, I see, because if I just walk off of a ledge, then I'm beginning my acceleration towards
yeah,
max downward velocity. But if I'm already in the air, then I will have faster velocity downward. Is that right?
exactly. And that would let you get to that platform earlier. Oh, okay.
Does that also apply on openers with the dotted orange lines? That if you perfectly time your drop as the orange line disappears, it's then jumping is actually faster to get you
Yeah.
down, or does the acceleration, I don't know, allow?
Yeah. It used to be the case in like 2018 meta, 2017 meta, something like super old school meta on Baymap, right? Both snail riders would just run to the snail. And you can watch videos of me from like KQ20 or whatever. I probably didn't lose a snail race
Hmm.
because I would jump before the countdown ended, and I would have downward momentum when the countdown started. And then the other thing that's cool is you could do the same thing with the horizontal momentum. And I'll do this, for example, as queen on night map when I'm opening to top mid, right? Um, I'll uh, I'll sort of do this kind of Kirby thing, like let's say I'm the bottom left queen, right, and they're the whatever. I'm the left queen, and I'm trying to go to midgate, right, which is to the right of me. Um, I'll actually go away from midgate on the open as I'm rising, so that when I clear the platform that contains midgate, I'll be moving to the right, and this helps me get there like literally as fast as possible.
Hmm.
Um, and
Interesting.
you can or I can catch queens who like are capable of like uh, meeting a fast tapping queen who's not doing this hook thing. um, I'll be just moments faster than queens who do that, and it's an even more difficult thing to match me if you do not have like a similar like very 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 fast tap. If you're trying to do like a soft stick
Hmm.
to meet me at mid, yeah, I'm doing this hook thing. But I think actually I was too nitty here. I don't think you had quite enough position. This was not a bad play. Like you did a decent thing. You were trying to go for a win. I don't think you actually had a deterministic win here. All right, let's
Cool.
go
I'll have to
to
check out your night games because yeah, I haven't ever seen or heard of that hook movement that you're describing.
yeah, night mid opener. Oh, no mistakes here, just nits. I guess if I'm did this filter thing right. And D, if you want to just join the chat, you can just join the audio. So I'm not, and Ryan as well. Yeah. That way I don't have to interpret the chats. All right. I'm not going to admit the thing that you just heard me chewing on. Okay. Now we're gonna go here. Here's your window to punish trap. Try to punish trap cells. You got to get them when they are low and pincer. Okay. Bam.
Yeah, this
Okay.
speaks to what you were saying earlier, which is thinking of myself as like a crucial part of pincers and always looking for them. And here I move to the left instead of just immediately pincering and trapping them.
Right. Okay. It's there's even a more complicated point here. So here these tunnels, these ceilings, I don't know what to call them, are kind of high, right? So
Yeah.
this is not actually super advantageous for drone, right? Like unlike under the speed gate or under this middle
Mm.
warrior gate. But the key thing is like Skulls actually made an error here in that they dropped low. Like the optimal play for Skulls, right? Believe it or not, against like a strong drone, right? They should take this path. oh, sorry. So bad at this. Here's the pen. Make it red. All right. So they should really go J and J, right? And now they have the ceiling, and now they can attack you from above, right?
Mm.
That's the optimal play. Instead, what they did was more like this sort of lazier low route, right? And the problem with this like lazier low route is when they're not on the ceiling, right? Now you can fuck with them,
Right.
and that's why you have this window, um, because they went low. Let's see. Yeah. So they're low here. Like you're on top of them. You gotta um, punish this by trying to keep them low, right? Keep them off balance. Don't let them get the ceiling.
Yeah.
Because once they get the ceiling, now you're a little bit lost.
Yeah, I wonder if I should have just like tried jumping on their head literally right off of this long press.
Yeah. Yeah. You should basically try to keep them. You should try to keep the left column on them and try to keep them off the ceiling. And okay, so Ryan says off the snail, you could do a long press to hit a drumstick.
That's right. Yeah, I did learn that after the tournament that if you're on the ground, you can stick to the nub, and if you're on the snail, you can stick to that platform. Yeah, to the nub.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I super knew this like crystallized. So I learned something. That's awesome. Um, okay. And then here's I guess the same mistake, right? So skulls yeah, once skulls is low, now like this should be like classic. Like skull should be dead here,
Yeah.
right? Um
So
this
basically, I need in my head to say like, if I have a warrior with me and any of their drones comes anywhere close to the ground, just kill them, punish
and any other warriors. Yeah.
any of their warriors. Yeah, or
Uh
queen, right? Any
or
military.
queen. Yeah, exactly. And you
Could
can
be a
even
drone too, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can pincer drones. Pincering drones is valuable too. I mean, it's not as valuable because they're not as you know, hard
Yeah.
to get, but yeah, pincering drones as a drone is also valuable. Yeah, but yeah, that mindset of if you come to my territory, I'm gonna fuck you up. If I got this one, is very important to have as a good aggro snail rider.
Yeah, the ground is my house.
Yeah. All right. Short hops are better since you can't threaten them. Yeah, Jordan pincers. Yeah, popping or pincering speed drums, absolutely something that drones and warriors should be trying to do. Okay, so let's go here. And Ryan, come in the chat and just drop the knowledge in real time and get in the video. Like the chat's not going to make it to YouTube. Okay, short hops are better here since you can't threaten the sack when you are too high. Let's see. Okay, so this is yeah definitely a nit, but the point is if you commit to a long press, you have less ability. Like you can't for that fraction of a second actually get back on the snail. Whereas if you're staying low, you have the ability to get into the snail's mouth, right? Like you are too far away from the snail when you jump too high is I guess another way of
So in that case, well, two questions. One is like I know that when you snail, there's a specific radius where you can't get back on the snail until you leave that radius and then right. So are you saying that I should basically short hop off to stay within that radius so that I can't get in the snail? Then if their drone approaches and they hop on the snail, then I'm just immediately beat.
um yeah, I guess maybe
Or
that's
are you
one
just
way of
saying
saying
like just hop? Or are you just saying just like hop forward so that if they hop on, snail moves forward and you get eaten instead of doing a
um
long jump up?
I think like the direction, like the joystick control is fine, but the long press was slightly suboptimal. That's all I'm saying, because the long press just pushed you too far away from the snail. Um,
The goal here is you're saying we want them to be on the snail and me to be eaten by the snail. Is that right?
I do believe you want to be getting eaten by the snail. Yeah, like ideally, what would happen is checkers actually has a strong position and holds it against stripes. You get eaten, skulls quickly clears you out, or like saves you. That's the ideal move. I guess in practice it didn't happen. It basically happened like I said, but uh, yeah, like you would have I don't know a half second more of freedom if instead of doing the long press and going like this, right? That just takes longer to get back on the snail and give you options. If you were to go the short press like this, right? You're just back on that snail faster. Like this extra distance is just like a little bit of wasted time. That's this is very nitpicky, but by default, like you should be like short hops are mostly better than long hops when you're riding the snail, except for the case when you're trying to actually bump people who are stuck on the ceiling, bump warriors or queens going on the ceiling. Then sure, then you want the long press, but otherwise you tend to walk the short press.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think my logic here was that I don't want anywhere near that snail so that my warriors can kill this drone without it, wasting 3 seconds being. Um, but you're saying basically if I had short hopped, then uh, this drone was basically so far away that I could have just kept moving on the snail, and I had another opportunity to jump off if I need to.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Um, okay.
Yeah, that's something I want to practice a lot more. Is just that specific timing. Like I know generally where they have to be on the front and back of the snail to be eaten, but I haven't really done much practice of like just trying to get that frame perfect swap. So yeah, something definitely that I learned I needed to practice this turn.
This is a dirty ass move that I learned from Andy Labor at like trunk trash games at KQ20, KQ25, something like that. And people don't use it enough. But here's the move, right? Well, okay. The even dirtier version is when you can get in the gate. Here, you're. I remember this. You're just a little late and you don't get in the gate, right? Like, so let's play. Yeah, you just die. So we can go back. Where are you? You're here. You're gonna get in the gate. You're just a little late. Okay, and if we click this again, I think we'll see the drawing. Yeah. So the best move here would be like. Do you actually maybe even don't know what a mantis is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, you can do a mantis here as the drone, where you kind of take that path. You move a little bit to the left with a jump, and then you come back. You could get a bump on this queen, and maybe their queen dies if you do this, right? Certainly better than dying to because you
Totally.
in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was hoping I would make it, but clearly did not. And yeah, no, I'd never thought about a drone being the mantis bait and like being
Yeah.
able to actually capitalize on that with a pincer bump. So yeah, that's a really good call, and I'll think about this, especially on day opens if their queen crosses over. Like
Yeah.
this move makes a ton.
Yeah. Definitely. And a lot of strong warriors will punish queens who are trying to get them at gates. Like Prashant in New York City is super good at this. Matt Wu in San Francisco, like if you attack him lazily at a gate, he'll often bump you and like generate kills as drone.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Like it should be. What's the word I'm looking for? Like I can anticipate that they're going to go for the dive because let's say I know that I'm just a little too slow on the gate, and if I stand there, they're going to kill me, which means they're guaranteed to go for it, right? They're not just going to give this to me for free with no military. So it's almost like 100% prediction rate that they will be in that position and loop around. I'll get that.
Well, it's more complicated than that, right? Like often, for example, like Walshy likes to cross under day map, like he'll open like um yeah, like imagine Walshy's blue queen. He'll often open like this. And if you do it well, you can actually stop their safe form. But
Right.
the better move
Yeah, that's
is not like that. It's like this. Like I'll actually side J this platform and then attack them from above, and I still have the time to avoid it's like the same move you were saying, like, oh, the bump is deterministic, you'll always get it. No, actually, like, people are smart. They're, you will always get it. But uh,
So in both cases, I can guarantee survival moving
you
at a specific point in time. But
right.
you're saying basically I can't predict if they're gonna go like the more diagonal route or the J route, and that will affect the way that I mantis. So I kind of have to anticipate, maybe guess.
Well,
It's like a 50-50 on where I'll be jumping to.
no, if they, uh, well, okay,
Or
these
if they're
are,
on the ceiling, you're like, they're not even gonna go for you if they see you moving. And so you're not gonna get a mantis on a queen that takes the ceiling route.
yeah, yeah, yeah. If they take the ceiling route, um, you no longer have options. Like they did stuff fundamentally sound, and you know you're the little
Gotcha.
drone. They're the big dog. You've lost it. I mean, sometimes you know uh, that costs time to actually J up, and that could mean you could get out of the gate. But yeah, you can't. Basically, you can't condition it on your opponents playing poorly. Like
Yeah, I try to assume that my opponents are good rather than, yeah, like challenging a queen J as a warrior, for example.
right, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I feel like you could still get that bump if if they hop under, they J under well, then they're gonna want to go down with some rightward velocity, and I feel like there's a small window there,
yeah,
harder than the other version, but I think there's a small
yeah.
window.
If they do it right, you're dead. Like they're the big dog with the queen and the dive, and that dive is quick, right? You once they get really above you, and it's not okay. Another way of looking at this or drawing it is
Oh,
like
I see. You're saying by the time they get in there, they already have almost guaranteed kill potential on you if you're still in
right.
the gate.
Yeah. Okay. So imagine like this is like another concept that's super useful to know. But okay, like say the gold queen is moving to the right. Like under her is like okay. Like actually, first let's imagine gold queen was static, right? Then there's this kind of symmetric kind of dive cone like this. Oh my god, I'm so bad at drawing. But like this is if she were stationary, like roughly stuff she can kill in the range of, right? And
Okay.
now imagine instead she has forward momentum, right? That actually shifts the sort of orientation of this cone, right? So if she's got forward momentum, then the dive cone maybe looks more like this,
Mm, interesting.
or whatever. I guess it kind of wraps around, honestly. Like, my drawing's so bad. Yeah, maybe the empirical dive cone looks more like this, right? I should have done it in color, but you saw. Um,
I got you.
when kills near the edges of this cone are risky. That's where you get your mantises, right? Where they expect to like
Uh,
just barely hit you, and you can get outside of the cone and then come sort of back in after they've passed it, right? That's
oh,
where
interesting. Because they can't actually go beyond that, so you're safe. You stay outside of that radius.
yeah, or if you can get outside of the dive cone just in the right time, right before they get you, right? That's how you get them. So a lot of good warriors with good spacing, will kind of bait you, bait queens. Be like, oh, you thought you had the spacing right, bam, you just had it just slightly, slightly, slightly wrong, right? And then run away and rise to get above the cone, and then once you've dived and missed, and now you're below them, now they punish you, right? Like
That makes sense. Is dive cone one of those terms that everyone uses, or just
I
maybe
don't
for this
know
demonstration?
that many people use it. I had like a conversation with Andrew Wilkening, who's like a two-time national champion, and Andrew Kelly, who's a three-time national champion, at like a halal place while drunk or something at 2 a.m. And Wilkening was talking about this dive cone. I don't know that it's been that formalized. I mean, these two people are two of the strongest players to ever play the game.
Are they
Maybe
both New York?
they're both former New York. I think Wilkening's now in Chicago, and Andrew Kelly Turbo is in Portland. Um, yeah,
I'm curious if I should, yeah, add it. I'll add it to the glossary that I made, and then I'll just
yeah,
tag it to New York because like that's the home. But yeah, if I hear other cities use it, I'll just remove the city specific.
yeah. And you can even like I don't know, make a yeah. The iPhone is worth you know
Yeah, it's a great concept. I hadn't seen that in any other videos or documents or heard
yeah
about it. So, it's for
awesome Yeah, it's nice that to sometimes verbalize things that you can even like know intuitively, but um, when you verbalize them, then they kind of become more concrete. Um, all right, this is I think a good play on their side, and whatever, that's cool.
I Yeah, I could not believe that their warrior from above the platforms next to the mid gate made it all the way down in time. I
Yeah,
definitely learned a new radius for where I can be. Yeah.
yeah. All right, so let's see. We're gonna watch gold checks. It's the sack, right? And who gets the clear? Stripes. Stripes with speed. Bam! Like oh, like perfect timing. That's just a beautiful
Hmm.
play.
I could not
Um,
believe it. I was like, dang, they're speed drone and they just fed and I'm gonna get this kill and let's go. And then that happened. I was like, what? My radius of where I think I'm safe is much wider
yeah, that was
or
just a
much
super.
narrower than I thought. Yeah.
I wouldn't have been sad if I was you. Like that's just like beautiful killer queen. Sometimes you just gotta hand it to your opponents. All right, I don't
Totally.
know if this is gonna work. Okay, so here, um, here's what actually I teased in the beginning, and here an hour later, if you're tuned in, you get to hear actual some Rob drone wisdom that I think is pretty cool. So your team's locked out. Uh, your stripes, you're just sacking over and over, right? Let me
Yep.
see you.
Yeah, that's what I
Maybe do
was told to
six.
do and I obeyed.
Okay, okay, that's fair. Instead, and I'm going to try to make sure that this works on the stream. This might take me a little while. I got this link over here. Does OBS pick it up? Okay. I'm going to mute this. I don't know. Can you see it? I'll assume you've seen the thing I linked to.
Yeah, I know what the term sourberry means, which I still find to be a strange name because it has nothing to do with a berry at all. But yeah, it's basically that platform above the side gate, coming through the wrap and bumping a warrior toward the edge of that platform to try to get a kill, like a pincer with your military, right?
Yeah. So unfortunately, you whatever. I'm not going to show this to you. You've seen the video. But OBS has it. Ryan hates this. This actually legit, straight up, probably won this day map. So my team is locked out. I'm gold or I'm blue queen, and we're gonna in like I don't know, maybe 6 seconds. We're gonna get two different kills at the side gate. So here, I think Abs probably is gonna give me that kill. Bam, yep. Abs got me a kill over left gate. Gonna tag that gate. We're gonna go for that same play. Oh, we're gonna get a different drone hits it. Right, I'm gonna guess Checkers is gonna hit this one. Checkers is gonna come. Checkers is gonna come. Bam, breaks me out. Right, so we just killed two warriors at that side gate. This is something drones should be looking for. Uh, the counter to this is the opposing warriors can drop under that pincer, but um, they often don't. And when warriors are pincering queens, they're often very focused on the micro spacing with the queen and trying to read the queen's head. They're not often paying attention to the wrap. The lore for the name of this is I don't know, circa 2017 or something when I came up with it. I'm gonna put insights.gg back on the screen. Um, I was really into brewing sour beer, and I didn't want people to know. Like, I wanted this to be like this little code word, right? Like, it sucks to that everyone can hear your opponents can hear your comms, right? So we wanted a code word for it. And so Brian Kang just like, oh, you like sour beer? How about it's called sour berry? And that's the name. And I don't know. I thought it was super cool. And now I think Dallas and San Francisco maybe use the word a lot more than I do than our scene did. But it took so long. Like this thing, I legit invented this shit. I'm sure it's like 2017. I even remember the first day I thought about it and I used it. I got Andrew Kelly, that same guy we were talking about earlier, and Wyatt. Like just like that clip that I showed. I got them both like in the same thing, like 6 seconds apart. Sour left, sour right. Okay, whatever. Uh,
Yeah, this was
uh,
the exact terminology that I believe Drew. It could have been Miranda. It could have been Walsh. I don't remember who exactly taught me, but yeah, I do remember them specifically explaining this concept, and I was like, "Why the heck is it called sour berry?
yeah,
Like, there's
it
no
was.
berries involved."
It's just a crazy, crazy. yeah, code
Oh
word.
yeah,
But now
we've
it's not
abbreviated it to just sour.
sour. Yeah, nice. Okay, so that's I think all of the annotations. That's solid hour. Um, yeah, this was cool. I'm super impressed by how good you got at this game, right? Like if and like with how little time you've played, it's I don't know. It's very impressive. But yeah, maybe you take games very seriously and have had success competitively in other games. So maybe that explains part of it. Um, I'm happy to keep on doing this for you or for other people in general. I like this. Um, I like kind of doing these reviews. And yeah, I think maybe we can cut it off here.
Right on. Thanks so much,
Thanks.
Rob. And yeah, I
Yeah.
really appreciate you taking the time to watch the games, annotate the game, set this up, market it, get the stream going, like everything you did on the production side. And all I had to do was just show up and talk for an hour. So, yeah, this has been amazing and super helpful. And yeah, if anybody else is looking for advice from a pro, like Rob is the go-to guy. This.
Okay. And I would just like to acknowledge, I would like Dee to acknowledge that my boomer ass just got credit for my Twitch skills, my OBS skills,
Hey.
and my preparation. Oh no, you should. There's, if you can, I don't know if it's still on Twitch, but if you go back like 14, 16 months ago, there's like some Twitch stream where it's just like, it's like a zoom in photo of my forehead. Oh, my title is wrong. Oh my god. Damn it. All right. Fuck
You
you. At
could
least
change
YouTube
that
allows
in
the right title.
post.
Kenny, I don't know anything. I was late. I got to my apartment 5 minutes before this was gonna start. Anyway,
Well,
thanks for the chat.
also,
Thanks
yeah,
for
thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that you're actually gonna upload this, so it's just a live stream, but then also, going through the like as a previous YouTuber, it is a decent amount of work to record the video, get it into your editing software, upload it, title it, add description, all these things. So yeah,
yeah,
thanks for all the work that you're doing to help create these shareable resources.
yeah,
Everyone can learn from.
yeah. Anyway, I enjoy it. Other people should do this too. This is a good fucking format. I shouldn't be the only one doing it. Anyway, good night, y'all.